Raz B, you got knocked the fuck out. And you better believe we're gonna talk about it. Welcome back to Damien After Dark. If you're new here and you have not subscribed yet, go ahead and click that subscribe button right below to get locked in on all things Damien After Dark. Also, you can support the channel by leaving a super thanks or using my Cash App below. YouTube does take a percentage of the super thanks that you guys leave, so my Cash App is available in the description, but you can support the channel for free by clicking the thumbs up button. It doesn't cost a thing to hang out in my squad over here. So if you want to support, please, I would appreciate it so much if you click that thumbs up button. Last but not least, join the conversation. What did you think about tonight's episode of Bad Boys Texas? And what did you think about Raz B getting knocked the fuck out? Whew, we've got so much to talk about. Make sure you leave your comments below. This is the Bad Boys Texas Season 2, Episode 9 after show, where we get down and dirty, recapping the episode, talking about your favorite moments and all the moments that we're talking about on social media. Now, before we get into things, I don't know if you guys can hear. It just got really silent. But it's raining where I'm at. We've got a tornado watch out for another 2 hours. So hopefully there's not a lot of sound interference going on this episode here with the rain, but if you hear it, that's what it is. Just want to give y'all a little bit of a heads up. My oh my, where do we begin with this episode? So first of all, the episode description for tonight's episode was, quote, "The Bad Boys take a trip to the studio to record a hit song." Lame, snooze, boring, next. Really? Y'all, in this song, we don't want to see them in the studio. I've said that multiple times, and I'm going to scream it again to the rooftops at Zeus. We don't want to see them in a studio. Okay? The episode description really should have said, Raz B gets knocked the fuck out, because baby, that's what happened tonight. And we're going to get into that. But first, let's start at the very beginning. So, this week's episode, of course, picks up from last week. Last week, Kion and Rei were having some issues. And we see at the beginning of this episode that Rei's pussy ass, the one who said that Kion is not a fighter, yet he decides to jump on Kion. That kind of did it for me with Rei. I've been on the fence with Rei this whole season. I really liked him last season because I guess he was a new face. He was someone I'd never really seen on TV before. I thought his confessionals were funny, and I kind of understood why they brought him back. But this season, with him being on here, I'm just kind of over it. I really don't care for him. I feel like he's trying a lot. And then when he jumped on Kion like that, it didn't really seem warranted. It felt like he jumped on Kion because he knew that Kion was not a fighter. And I feel like Rei's overrated, if you ask me. Why, Darrell, why would you touch Jonathan like that? Would you? Would you touch Mo City like that? Or Prince? I have a feeling that you wouldn't. Like, I understand he was frustrated with Kion because Kion was running his mouth a lot on the phone with Natalie, which thank you to whoever last week cleared it up for me. I said last week that Kion was talking to his grandma. Y'all said no, he was talking to Natalie. I was like, where did I get that from? And I watched it back, and at one point it sounded like he said Nana. Maybe he said Nat, but it sounded like he said Nana. So I get where Kion's frustration was coming from I get where Rei's frustration was coming from with Kion, but I just feel like don't hit Kion unless you're going to do that to every single guy in the car. If Jonathan was sitting there talking shit, I guarantee you wouldn't have Superman Joe ass to the back of the bus on Jonathan. Y'all pick and fight on who you think you can beat. And that's pussy shit, in my opinion. Now, Chef D noticed that his drink was touched, and he was worried because they're on the bus. He's like, who touched my drink? I know my drink's been touched. And he was worried because He said he'd been drugged in the past. And I know he's on a show where you wouldn't think you'd have to worry about that, but I don't blame him in this instance, especially dealing with people in Hollywood. Not even people in Hollywood, because people being drugged, that happens a lot. I don't know about you at home. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced that. I haven't, but I know people who have been. And it really happens a lot with females. So many females can't even go out to the club or the bar and have a drink without worried about some weirdo putting something in their drink and drugging them only to take them home and have sex with them unconscious, which is, we know, the R word. So I really don't blame Chef D. He says that he's been drugged in the past, and that's got to be scary. And it's, like I said, it's very, very common. It happens so much, and it's sad. It's sad that some of y'all got to drug people just to get some. You got to drug somebody just to get a piece. They get to the studio. They get to the studio to record this song that nobody gives a fuck about or wants to hear. And the studio is apparently dilapidated. It's not really a nice studio. Dilapidated is probably a strong word, but it's not the best studio. You know, it's probably like a homemade studio that somebody made in their basement or something. But the equipment's not working. I'm just like, whose idea was this? Hot Mess Express. Now, Prince, you are cute, and you know I think you're a cutie. But I just feel like, Prince, if you want to be taken serious as an artist, I feel like he should change his name. Not Prince, because he doesn't go by Prince as an artist. If you noticed in the episode, his artist name is Poppy Rose. And I'm just like, I don't know about that. Like, Prince is really cute. I feel like he's got potential as an artist. Anybody can record a hit song nowadays if you got the right producer, beat, lyrics, whatever. But Poppy Rose, I just don't feel like that's going to get the girls' panties wet. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, ladies, y'all tell me. Because he plays for y'all's team. Are y'all going to sleep with an artist named Poppy Rose? I mean, I guess if he was making hit songs, his name doesn't matter. But I just feel like the name should be different. Like, the name's kind of corny. Poppy Rose? Like, what? I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. Now, Kion and Rei, they end up talking their issues out at the studio after this whole ordeal, this whole squabble they had in the Bad Boys bus. At the studio, they talk things out, and to be honest, they looked like a married couple when they were talking things out. They looked coupled up the way they was right in each other's faces talking about it, and it was more so Rei. Did y'all see how Rei was looking at him? He was like, you know, well, Kion, you made me mad. Don't do that again, Kion. Like, he was looking at Kion like he wanted to just ride the dick like a BMX right off the bat. But I'm glad they worked out their issues. I'm glad they didn't string this shit out for episodes. You know, they squashed it like men and they moved the fuck on. Now, everybody's freestyling. You know, listening to beats, freestyling, doing their thing. And Prince wasn't feeling it. He wasn't feeling the beat. He wasn't feeling the hook. It was something Bad Boys, Texas, don't you see us bad boys flexing? It was something like that. That was their hook for the song. And Prince wasn't really feeling it. He said that he was like, you know, y'all did an hour recording session last season and the song sounded awful. I don't want that to happen again this season. And I kind of get why he's upset, because he does take music seriously. But at the same time, this doesn't seem like a serious song. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just seems like something fun that y'all are doing to make an episode, to have something to do. You know, it's not like y'all are meeting up with the #1 producer in the world, or y'all are in the studio with DJ Khaled, or, you know, whoever. But, I mean, I was kind of in the middle with it, because Prince takes music serious. He wanted this song to really sound good since there's season 2. And the other boys were just kind of playing around. Let's just be real. He said, Prince says he just wants to smoke some weed, catch a vibe, and be creative. But my thing is, Prince, you in the wrong group if you want to do that. Because these boys are not about catching vibes. These boys are you know, are not about just chilling and smoking weed. They want to smoke weed and fight. So, where do they do that at, by the way? Where do they smoke weed and fight? Really, back at the house, because they end up leaving this studio because this studio doesn't have the resources that they need. The equipment's old, whatever. They leave, and back at the house, Relly's talking to Prince, and he tells Prince that he has to go home because he's got an emergency situation at home. And apparently, Relly's boyfriend has a sister that tried to commit suicide and tried to overdose, and she's in the hospital. So he's leaving to go back home. Kion tells him, he understands. Kion tells Relly that he tried to commit suicide at age 19, which was actually sad to hear. All the things we see on Bad Boys and Baddies with the fighting and all that shit, I feel like these vulnerable moments are the things that make these guys relatable. I feel like these are the things that, not that we want to see all the time, but it's important to drop these little seeds about the guys throughout the show. I feel like we get to know them a little bit better. And maybe you at home who could have possibly committed suicide, or maybe you have someone at home that has committed suicide before. These are things that you can watch and relate to these boys more so than watching a fight every fucking episode. Don't get me wrong, the fighting can be entertaining, but it's nice to see some layers to these boys, some depth. You know what I'm saying? Now, with Relly going home, I'll be real with y'all. I kind of hope he doesn't come back. Am I the only one that feels like that? Like, we're already on episode 9. The season's probably got 4 episodes left, if that. Just let him stay home. Hell, I wouldn't mind some more replacements coming in to replace him and Big Lou. But if they don't bring any replacements in, it is what it is. Now, on the other side of the house, Raz B and Orlando are arguing. Apparently, Raz B had this show idea that he wanted the Bad Boys to do, and somehow that sparked an argument between Raz and Orlando. And here go Raz with the predictable ass shit that we've seen time and time and time again with the, get the camera out my motherfucking face. Get the camera out my motherfucking face. Raz B wants us, wants me, wants you at home to think that he is such a hard ass. He wants you at home to be scared of him. Get the camera out my motherfucking face. Girl, bye. If I had $1 for every time I heard this. Like, girl, stop. I just want to laugh. I'm like, when Raz does this tough guy shit, I'm like, I'm at home laughing. Because it's funny to me. It's funny to me. Like, we don't take you serious, Raz. We really don't. I haven't seen, though, like, honestly, for being real, I haven't seen Raz this upset since the show started. And we're like, what, 9 days in, episode 9? Usually he's been pretty cool, pretty calm. But, he's charging at the cameraman. He's cussing under his breath and walking around, throwing shots. He's throwing chairs at people. Like, he's all over the place. It's a different Raz B than what we've seen. But look, what really got me? Do y'all want to know what really got me? What really got me was when Raz started throwing up the gang signs, talking about Crip this, 306. Oh, Raz, you can't be serious. You really want us to believe, Raz B from B2K. You really want us to believe that your little stud self is a Crip? Child. You really want us, Raz B, to believe that you are in a gang? The only gang that you in, Raz B, is a motherfucking gang bang. Ain't nobody believing that shit. Like, I don't give a fuck how much you Crip blood, this and that. We ain't scared of you, Raz. We ain't scared of you, girl. Raz had the nerve to tell Orlando that Orlando was showing out for the cameras. But I see it the other way around. I feel like Raz is the one that's showing out for the cameras. And we see in this episode, multiple guys on the cast tell Raz B, and they say in the confessionals, that Raz is a different person off camera. He's cool as fuck off camera. As soon as them cameras come up, He's doing all the I'll fuck you up, I'll do this. He's doing all the rah-rah shit. His name shouldn't be called Raz. He should be called rah-rah. Because that's what he does. At this point, he's in Orlando's face, blowing his stank breath right in Orlando's face. He's putting his hands on Orlando, touching him. I mean, doing the most. Like, honestly. Did y'all see Jonathan watching with that 30-inch platinum wig? That took me off guard. I'm like, where did that come from? Jonathan just on the sideline with a long-ass platinum blonde Lil' Kim wig. Now, he sees Raz B in Orlando's face, and he sees them going back and forth arguing. So he says, let me step out here and see what's going on. And Jonathan comes outside, and he asks Raz, why the fuck are you screaming at Orlando? And Raz and Jonathan get in each other's face. And the way, baby, the way Raz B walked away so fucking fast, when Jonathan came outside and got in his face, like, what the fuck you screaming at him for? This is all Raz could do. What's wrong, Raz? Are you scared? It seems like you scared, Raz. Where's that energy you just had for Orlando? Do that with Jonathan. Or is it because you scared? I'm just saying. I don't make the news. I just report it, okay? Raz B, this might sound mean, y'all. Please forgive me. I'm gonna be a little messy and a little mean tonight. But Raz B reminds me of a pug that I had years ago. I love pugs. Pugs are so cute, and I shouldn't disrespect all the beautiful pugs out there by comparing them to Raz B. But he just reminds me of a pug in some ways. I miss my little pug, Bruiser. He was so cute. I also didn't like how Raz B was like. He just showed his true colors this episode. I didn't like how he talked to the production assistant. And y'all may not have seen the production assistant in this episode, but I know that's who he was talking to because he was like, give me some water. Like, he was just mad the moment he's like, give me some water. Like, I don't like when people talk down to the production staff on these shows. Not even production staff. Anybody. You could work in fast food. You could be the janitor at a company or whatever. I don't like when people talk down to others that they feel like are below them because the position that they are in are below them. So they feel like they can talk down. Like, you're no better than anybody, Raz. You are in a washed up boy band that nobody listens to anymore. Humble yourself, sweetie. Come back down to earth. You're on a reality show like the rest of these boys. You are not better than anybody. You are not the Beyonce of the group, okay? You are most definitely the Kelly. Or not the Kelly, the Michelle. And I don't even mean to disrespect Michelle like that. So, we see that Raz and Orlando end up squashing their issues. At least it seems. But now Raz has pissed off Prince. Now, here's the thing about Prince. If you piss Prince off, you've really done something. Because if y'all watch Bad Boys from the very beginning, if you've been a part of every after show with me, you know one thing is true. Have y'all seen Prince get mad at anybody? Have y'all seen Prince put his hands on anybody? Have y'all seen Prince even really cuss anybody out? No. Prince is there to smoke weed, turn up, have a good time. Okay? So when Prince is mad, there's got to be a reason behind it. And Prince says that Raz has been doing weird shit. He says that he's walking around talking about nobody's going to do this, nobody's going to beat me up, I'll do this, I'll do that. Y'all know how people get. They be doing this passive-aggressive shit, talking under their breath, and it's just like, well, who are you talking to? Whose ass are you going to beat? Because there's a group of us here. If you're going to beat my ass, let's go right now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Raz B was razzing. Raz B was razzing, doing his normal thing, being a stunt queen per usual. And to be honest, I don't think he's all the way there. Like, this whole time, we've been wondering, is Orlando in his right mind? When the whole time, I think it's Raz B, the one that we need to be watching out for. Like, either Raz still has issues from his past and he's dealing with something, or maybe he's high on something. allegedly. Is he high? What do y'all think? What's going on with Raz B? Let me know in the comments. Do y'all think he's just, his mental health is not all the way there? Do y'all think he's high off something? Is he drunk? What's going on with Raz B? Make sure you chime in and let me know in the comments, because I'd love to hear what y'all have to say about that. Now, Prince says that the problem that they have with Raz B is that he's not being genuine. He's not being authentic as himself, and he puts on an act for the cameras. Like I said earlier, multiple boys have said this to corroborate this, and I believe it. I truly believe it. This is what happens when they cast washed up boy band members. Raz is used to having to perform. He's a singer. He's a performer. He's used to performing. But this is a reality show. This is a reality show, ho. You don't have to perform. Just be your fucking self. It's not that hard. It's the easiest job on the planet. Show up and be you. Now, after Prince scares Raz B away, here go Raz in the confessionals. What's poppin'? Anybody can get this shit, cuz. Like, when they confront him, he backs down like a little pussy kitten. But then at the confessionals, it's like, anybody can get this shit, cuz. Girl, we're exhausted. My weave is exhausted. My jock strap is exhausted. Like, stop, Raz, stop. Okay. I don't know what Raz was doing before this show, but I don't think his career was really doing much. But I don't think this show has been a good look for him. I really don't. Like, I know he probably needed the check. He maybe didn't have a lot going on. But if I was his manager, his publicist, I would be like, this is not a good look for you. I would be watching this show like, Raz, oh my God, this is not a good look for you. I have to do damage control now, because now you look like a weak little pussy ass bitch. Am I wrong? I mean, this show has just made it, not this show. He's made himself look like a straight up punk. Not a punk with a U, a punk with an O, okay? And he's still, minutes later into the episode, he's still doing this get this camera out of my face shit. And it's like, why do you keep going after the cameraman? Why are you disrespecting the cameramen who don't give a fuck about y'all? They're just there to do a job, point a camera at you and film this shit. And you want to threaten the people that you know won't hit you. You know these cameramen have a job to do and they're not there to fight, so you want to go after them. Raz and Chef B are just awful. Awful cast members. So they head to the studio again, because the first studio was shit. So they've got a better studio. They're heading to that studio. And Raz is still on the weird shit. He's still being weird. He's still mumbling underhanded threats. And he starts looking the boys up and down. Gets on the bus, is looking them up and down. I'll fight anybody. I'll do this. Just keeping on with the weird shit. And Adonis tells Raz, or Adonis says the same thing that Prince says about Raz. He says that Raz is cool until the cameras turn on, and then he starts turning up. A stunt queen, a performer, an actress. How many people have said this now? Prince, Jonathan, Adonis, they're all saying that when the cameras turn on, Raz starts acting. He starts performing. And Adonis tells him that he will murder him. Adonis is like, yo, I will murder you, Raz. And Raz is like, you're going to murder Raz B? You're going to murder Raz B? Like, again, Raz, who are you? Like, I'm not trying to take away from this man's accolades, but please humble yourself. Like, what the fuck? You are not Harry Styles. You are not Chris Brown. You are not Usher. You're not John Legend. You're not... At this point, Prince's music career is more credible than yours, in my opinion. Like, he was taking... Like, I knew what Adonis was saying. When he said he's going to murder Raz B or whatever, I knew he did not mean literally stab him, shoot him. He meant, I'm going to fuck you up with my hands, and I'm just going to murder your ass. That's what he meant. However, the stunt queen took it the wrong way. I didn't say he took it the wrong way. He took it exactly how he wanted to take it. He wanted to make a moment out of it. He wanted to make it dramatic. And I mean, at this point, everybody on the bus, every cast member, every bad boy is noticing that he's off and he's different, that something's not right. And I literally, like I said earlier, think there's something mentally going on or there's a drug issue here and he's high as hell off something. I don't know what it is. So they get to this other studio and everybody's in the studio and Raz walks in and he's razzling again. He's razzling again, doing what he's been doing the entire episode, talking shit under his breath. Ain't nobody gonna fuck with me. Ain't nobody gonna do this. And he takes one step in and whop! He gets knocked the fuck out. And listen, I don't normally like that kind of shit. But in this instance, Raz, you kind of deserved it. You kind of had it coming for you, baby girl. Like, Jonathan ain't gonna, of all the people on this cast, the one person that's not gonna let you walk around talking shit, talking about, I'll fuck this person up, I'll beat your, is Jonathan. Did you not watch season 1? Jonathan has been waiting all season 2 to whoop somebody's ass. I could just feel it. He's been waiting ever since he dribbled Anthony's head off the bus. He's been waiting to whoop somebody else's ass. And Raz, you asked for it. You bought tickets to that ass whooping. Front row tickets. VIP passes, meet and greet. You bought that, Raz. You can't just be talking shit to all these grown ass men and expect somebody to want to square up and put their hands on you. Am I right or am I right? What I am upset with is that Zeus did not have their cameras up to capture this moment. Could y'all imagine if we had that on camera? Which we did have it on camera, and I do want to say to whoever the producer was that had their who had their iPhone out filming that, they deserve a raise. Because had that producer not had been thinking and not had his producer hat on, and had he not pulled his phone out, we wouldn't have got that moment on camera. And they would have just had the boys describing it. They would have had them up there in the confessional talking about Jonathan just knocked the shit out of Raz B. And then we would be sitting at home like, where the fuck is the footage? Like, y'all didn't film it? Like, why were cameras not up? Why did a producer have to pull his phone out? Like, what the hell's going on? Come on, Zeus. That was so important. I wanted to see that moment from the front. We got a back shot. We got a back shot of that. And then when Jonathan knocks Raz the fuck out, all of a sudden we hear Prince saying, he's got a knife, he's got a knife, he's got a knife. Now, before they left for the studio, we saw footage of security trying to get Raz to give whatever he had in his pockets to them. Y'all remember? We saw the security guard saying, Raz, please give me what's in your pockets. Give me what's in your pockets. And Raz wouldn't do it. He was like, my phone's in my pocket. What you want, my phone? So apparently they never got this knife from him. My thing is, Zeus, if y'all knew that he had a knife in his pocket, y'all shouldn't have let him roll to that studio. Y'all should not have let Raz leave the property or continue on with the show unless he gave that knife up. What if he'd been out of his mind and really hurt somebody and really stabbed the fuck out of somebody? Y'all got a lawsuit. That liability that I'm always talking about would have came back on y'all's ass like karma. I really do think Raz B is unstable. Especially after what we saw there at the end. I really do. Like, you talking all this big shit about how you can whoop this person's ass and you could do this and crip this, blood this. And then you want to pull out a knife on somebody when you get knocked the fuck out. Stand back up and fight. You big boss. You got big balls? Fire Jonathan. What's the problem? What's tea, sis? What's tea? Because you're looking real scary right now, Raz. Raz B, the stud, wants us to think that he's a gangster. Raz is a gangster all of a sudden. Gangster. Raz. Raz B, you're a joke. And we got to see that tonight. The joke's on you. You look pathetic. You looked a fool. You're one of my least favorite cast members down there with Chef D. And I'm over it. I'm over him. And I hate to say it, but I kind of liked seeing him get sucker punched tonight. Is that bad? Anyway, things don't end here because we see next week with a sneak peek for next week's episode where Jonathan, yet again, puts the pause on Raz B while they are in the club. So we're going to talk about all that and more on next week's Bad Boys Texas After Show. You don't want to miss it. Make sure you're back here each and every Sunday for our Zeus Network after shows. If you have not subscribed yet to the channel, go ahead and get locked in by subscribing below. Also, support the channel by leaving a super thanks. You can leave a super thanks below, or you can also use my cash tag, which is through Cash App, and you can send money that way because YouTube does take a percentage of our super thanks that you guys send. But you don't have to support the channel by spending money. You could support the channel for free by clicking that thumbs up button right below this video. And last but not least, join the conversation and let me know what you thought about episode 9 in the comments below. What did you think about Raz B's behavior? Do you feel like Raz was at fault here, or was his behavior warranted? Also, what do you feel about Jonathan knocking him the fuck out? Do you think Jonathan was in the wrong and he was bullying? Or do you think Raz had it coming for talking shit all night? And then what do you think about Raz B pulling a knife out at the very end? Was that too far and uncalled for? Or was Raz B just defending himself? I want to hear your thoughts and opinions, so make sure you leave them in the comments below. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Damien After Dark. And we'll see you next time on the Bad Boys Texas After Show. See ya.